Hi everyone, I'm Law of the West, and welcome to another in my ongoing series of buyer's guides for ships that have been recently added to the Pledge store. This episode is going to be about the Mirai Guardian. There are several things that you should know about it before you think about buying it either with real money or when it's available in-game. For starters, its war bond price is $230 and its standalone price is $250. It's a heavy fighter that was designed to put more of an emphasis on performance over fuel efficiency or firepower. And one thing that a lot of people were unsure about was with its weapon systems. It has 2 size 5 weapon hardpoints and 4 size 4 missile racks. And this is exactly the same weapons loadout that the QI has. And when it comes to its weapons, there's nothing that the QI has that the standard Guardian couldn't also be equipped with. The differences between their missile loadouts is that the QI comes by default with 8 size 3 missiles, while the standard Guardian has 16 size 2s. But like I said before, you can change either of their racks so that they mimic the other's loadout. And you can also swap out its size 5 guns for any other kind of size 5 weapon. And the only difference when it comes to their components is that the QI has a power plant that's a little higher quality than the one that the Guardian comes with. This is the view from the pilot seat. And this is something I wanted to show you that was confusing a lot of people. You can exit the ship directly from the flight deck by holding F and right-clicking on the exit from rear button. And then highlight the exit front option and click on the left mouse button. The seat will then drop down like the Hurricane's does. It's really fast and you can get back in by pressing this button right here. This is also one of the most user-friendly ways I found to get back into a ship when you're in 0G. And outside there's also an external storage device that's located right here. And there's a weapons rack that's located right across from it. And this setup is exactly the same for the Guardian and the QI. The interior for both variants are exactly the same. They have an entrance in the rear and the front. They also both have a HAB section, a components room, and a front and rear airlock. The only real difference between them is that the Guardian doesn't have a quantum dampener while the QI does. This means that the Guardian weighs less, which gives it a 2 to 3 point bump in most of its stats, with exception to its roll speed, which is 10 points higher than the QI's. So how does it stack up against the other heavy fighters? Overall, the Guardian tends to burn through hydrogen fuel faster than the others, but is very efficient when it comes to its quantum fuel consumption rate. Its raw TPS tends to be lower than the others on average. It's the most agile out of the other heavy fighters, but some of them can still outdo it when it comes to raw speed. And it handles just as well within an atmosphere as it does in space. So more specifically, what kind of heavy fighter is it and what can it be used for? It's a solo fighter like the Lightning, but it has an interior, all the amenities of a mobile apartment, and it has a longer range. It's also a great ship to use for running a lot of different kinds of missions with. So in that aspect, I'd classify it as being more of a generalist. And lastly, does it have any advantages over the QI? Like I said before, it has a 2 to 3 point bump in most of its stats and a higher roll speed. And you won't have to worry about it having to take energy away from its other systems in order to power a quantum dampener. It's also slightly less expensive in the Pledge store, but there's not really much more than that. Overall, my advice would be that if you are interested in getting the Guardian, I suggest that you seriously look into the QI variant before deciding on getting anything. It's only $10 more, the difference in their performance is almost imperceptible, and they have the same potential components and weapons loadouts. Well, that's going to be it for this buyer's guide for the Mirai Guardian. I've been your host, Law of the West. Thanks for watching, and take care.